I think we've been there, 4 times?
3 or 4.
Maybe 5,
yeah.
something like that.
Many times.
And every time we go, we see you, but it's and you're gone.
Yes.
Usually with some sort of audio or video device or something like that, and as quick as you're in the frame, you're gone. So we're like, oh, let's go say hi to him. We'll catch you next
Oh
time.
boy, there. There he is.
First time there, we saw him in the food court. We were actually talking about reaching out to you guys about it.
I'm like, wait, is he running the podcast right
there,
behind
there
us?
He is.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Almost kismet if you think about it.
Yeah, you guys are running a Comic-Con at Bellworks on March 25th, March 21st, 2020. For as many times as I've been there, I've always in the back of my mind went, somebody should throw a Comic-Con here.
Well, it's definitely not without its tribulations. Number one, they've never really had a public-facing convention there. You know what I mean? Where like they always do corporate events and weddings and parties.
Yeah, for sure.
So they've never really done an open to the public buy your tickets here thing. So, you know, these guys are from closer to here. You know what I mean? I'm from Atlantic City. So after just to give you a quick backstory, the way that we all joined forces, so to speak, was in the summer. These guys ran the Middletown Comic Show.
Okay,
the one
I
at the
remember
Arts
that.
Center.
Yeah,
right.
It's a great one-day show. I think Mike Zapsik stopped by the last time.
He did stop.
And
last time.
Yeah, we had Brian Halloran as a guest this past November. You know, but they asked me to kind of come help and do some consulting with marketing and all that stuff.
Yeah.
Like my full-time job is I own a web design and marketing agency.
Right.
So I built them their website for the site, and we all conspired with the marketing. And then after Middletown went so well, I think it was close to like 600 people showed up.
Yeah, which for a one-day show in Middletown, New Jersey, with some grassroots marketing. I know you had flyers and cards.
Yeah.
600 is a lot of people. And Mike went. I'm like, dude, how was it? He was like, dude, it was packed. I was not surprised, but
if I remember correctly, Mike came later in the day too.
Yeah,
So
Mike came later in the day, like kind of like closer towards like lunch, and then Ernie O'Donnell pops up. And I'm like, you old son of a gun, you. And next thing you know, it's like starting to be this almost like little like mini reunion in the back corner.
It's like Clerks is happening right in front of you.
Yeah, right. And what would normally happen is Middletown was a biannual show. There was a fall show and a spring show. After that, we all kind of like it was like bubbling in us. We were like, this might have legs if we try and build it on a bigger scale.
Right.
So I don't know venues that well around here. The only venues that I really know as far as something I feel I could handle it was a place where like Garden State Comic Fest is, or, like the Expo Center in Edison or something like that.
Yes.
These guys brought Bellworks to me, and I was like, all right, what is this place? I was definitely, not going to lie, I was definitely doubtful at first because I didn't know about the actual event space below. I thought that I saw all the pictures and I thought it was just all the stuff there. So we bring them the idea to the Comic-Con, and the people were they were like, we'd love to talk about it. We had a really great first meeting with Joseph, who works there in event sales. And then negotiating back and forth, bing bong, hey, it's our first year. You've never done it here. We've never done a big Comic-Con like this before. And what's nice is that it's like we're already hearing, like I had a close to an hour-long conversation with one of the marketing managers for Buskerdu today, which
they have a space in Bellworks.
Right. Yeah. And there is a good chance where we might possibly be partnering on something for the event. I got to update you guys after the podcast. But we had a phone call and it went good today. But it's so cool because it seems like, that place is just a hotbed for people in general. And it's just the fact that there's so many technology companies and other people that work in there. It just seems like word is traveling in itself. So it's like,
technology companies do that. You know what that means? Nerds.
Exactly. There's so many nerds in there, and it's just like this feels like it could be a place that could be our longtime home, and especially with the history that's already in that building. If you're a history buff, then every time I drive in, I feel like I'm driving into Men in Black with the New York World's Fair thing out front. Every single time I hear the Men in Black theme, even though I know that's not it. But we decided to come up with a fairly simplistic model of something, not going to give it a super crazy name. Of course, I had to throw Back to the Future colors in the logo because it's my favorite thing of all time. But, you
saw the picture to your
I actually have that same picture. Like that was from Wizard World Philly, right?
It was, yeah.
I had that same exact picture. And
the photo, it's Christopher Lloyd, it's Leah Thompson, it's Michael J. Fox.
Yep.
We all got, we both got group shots with them.
Yep.
Which, it was not easy to get. We'll put it that way.
Well, if you remember too, when I was on Comic Book Men, I sold you my flux capacitor signed by Christopher Lloyd.
You did.
That was the hardest thing that I ever had to do in my entire
as
life.
mentioned, you are a Comic Book Man alumni.
I am. Yeah, it's
and,
season 5, episode 9.
Yes, and it's a very it's a hallowed hall of luminaries, along with Ralph Macchio, Peter Mayhew,
Right.
Jim Lee, Adam West, Stan Lee. It's a very short list of people who have appeared on our show.
I think there's a big part of it too, that just because it's in New Jersey and that I'm such a it before I even had any fathom possibility that a normal dude like me could be on that show, it was already one of my favorite shows.
Oh, thank you, man.
No, seriously, it's not me trying to gas you up or anyone here, but it's like I've been a massive fan of the View Askewniverse since I was 11 years old when I first saw Clerks.
Right.
So it's a fact that I have a great relationship with Brian O'Halloran, and every time I come to the stash, I either see you or Walter.
Oh
Zapsik, and
yeah.
it's
I mean, you're part of the family now, man.
I feel like we're all just like doing this right. We
are.
our three, we kind of have it's almost like a Venn diagram, right? So Stan and AJ, they will set up at just about every viable New York or New Jersey comic event that there is.
Okay.
That these guys, they're always selling comics and doing stuff like that at every show. They also put on the Middletown show before I came along, and they're both comic collectors.
Yeah.
I'm a comic collector. I've been doing events for 20 years, but I've never done a comic con.
Right.
So we all have the experience of things that we know that we like and that we don't like about area comic cons, and obviously there's events that we look up to, Garden State Comic Fest and Zap Comic Con and stuff like that. Those are events that we're not trying to compete with them whatsoever. They inspired us because we look up to those guys.
Yeah,
but,
and we all work together, so I imagine Garden State will be there advertising their show.
Oh, they will. We've got a space set aside for them. Zap's going to be there. Yeah,
I like that. The thing I've noticed a lot with, because what I like about the Middletown show, that reminded me of the old school shows that me and Mike used to go to.
Digging,
and you're there to buy comics. It was comic book oriented.
Yes.
Crazy notion, right? Remember Comic Cons had comics in them?
Yeah,
that's our goal.
Wild.
That's our goal.
Oh, we've been approached by home meat delivery people and insurance companies, and we've told them
and
no.
gutter repair and
bath fitters,
solar panels and
we've actually
insurance, massage parlors,
We've actually been very strict, and because between the three of us, the three guys you see here, we literally do everything for the show.
Yep.
So, each of us kind of has our segmented roles, and again, we have almost like a Venn diagram. Sometimes you'll pop into something if I can't handle it back and forth. The amount of vendors that we've actually had to say, thank you, we appreciate you reaching out to us, but you don't fit our show model would probably astound you.
Right.
It's a lot
more than you would think.
And if anything, it's kind of like a testament to show where these larger style shows have gone. I don't want to walk into a comic show, a comic expo, a Comic Con, whatever you want to call it, and have to look and find a map to actually see a comic book.
Right. Yeah, it should be right there in your face, right when you walk in, or multiple, hopefully. Yes.
Right. Well, no, tons. The amount of comic vendors that we're going to have at this show is that big. So our goal was to kind of take that Middletown Comic Show model where it was comic books, comic creator,
Right.
maybe a celebrity here, but it has to be something to do with comic books.
Absolutely.
Anything that world. But you're just going to see rows and rows of comics from
Fantastic.
whether you want $3 for $1 or you want $30,000 comics.
Right.
The Middletown show, what was the biggest sale?
$10,000 and 9.4 Hulk 181.
Whoa!
Yeah.
All right.
So I mean, even for a small show,
that's a pretty good price.
It
man.
was.
10
It was.
Yeah,
Jeez,
we had
man.
a few 4-figure and one 5-figure sale and a few 4-figure sales at Middletown alone.
Okay.
Just the last time people come there, we feel like we're putting the comic back in the comic book show.
Thank God.
at least the mid-size one.
Yeah.
At least
You
somebody's
know?
trying to do it. Yeah.
I've said it since the beginning is that my inspiration for this show is I want to be known as the Heroes Con of New Jersey.
Oh man, that's a great.
That's
a great goal.
Heroes Con in Baltimore are
they're-
the two best actual comic cons.
Yeah,
that
in-
pretty. And
in
I
the
would
country.
I would actually say Nickel City too. Nickel City is really
They
amazing.
have David Adams behind them.
But
for sure.
and I love David Adams.
Yep.
They're one of every time I see their black back issue boxes at any, I'm right
we're
there.
right there.
But that's our inspiration. Is that we might have put it this way, we have one of our guests is Tom Bowman, right? He was on Ink Master season 9, and he's not a comic book artist, but all of his specialty is in comic drawing, pop culture, caricatures, and he's going to be doing sketch covers at the show
That's
all week.
amazing.
He's not tattooing,
Right.
but he's going to do an Iron Man sketch cover. So it's there has to be something in there, and I think that with that combined fact that whether you want dollar comics or spend 5 figures on a comic, there's going to be something there for you. And I don't know if I don't want to speak necessarily for everybody else. You need to stop talking so much, by the way.
You know I don't talk a lot.
But I knock on wood, I'm feeling very optimistic about how well it's been received.
Yeah.
And just like anytime we bring it up, they're like, "Oh, you guys are running the."
Yeah.
Yeah,
That's the coolest thing ever.
Yeah.
Oh, it's amazing.
Because it's
I
a
was-
first-year show.
Right.
Yeah.
Every show I go to, tons of people are coming up to me. Oh, when's your show?
Yeah.
Because he's at every show.
Right.
If I want to go to a Comic-Con, I got to drive an hour and a half, 2 hours north to meet these guys. There's
Yeah.
nothing down in Atlantic City. Yet.
Right, which is where
Yet.
you're from, and so you're from Keyport, you're in Toms River, so you guys are relatively
Yeah.
close.
Right.
You're about an hour and a half away from all of this.
I'm Gilligan on the island
Yeah.
down in Atlantic City.
but I literally saw you 2 days at Toy Fair, so you're wearing a path between here and Atlantic City.
Well,
which
I
is-
travel a lot, and
Yeah.
I'm lucky that if I need to, I can pull up from my office and I can travel remotely. That day that I saw you, hopped on the bus in Atlantic City at 8. I was at Javits Center
Yeah,
by
you're there for
10:30.
what, 3 hours?
I was there for 3 hours to meet with some people because I
Yeah.
have a couple clients in the industry. Ran into you, had a
Yep.
great chat. I'm leaving. I see you again.
Yeah.
Confirm this whole thing,
Yep.
and then I was back in Atlantic City by the time rush hour even
That's
hit.
awesome.
I just like going places.
Right.
And the more visible you are, and the more you actually support these other shows. You know, anytime you get a chance to like go to Old Bridge, Clifton, Lehigh Valley,
Oh,
any
for
of those
sure.
shows.
Yeah, and
I didn't
they're-
make it to Lehigh Valley, but I try to make it to every one of these other types of shows because that's like, all I do is collect. I don't ever sell a darn thing.
Yeah.
Like I am a hoarder. I'm an absolute
You're-
hoarder.
you're-
Yeah.
These guys will show up and they'll be like, "Hey, do you want to by chance take a look at this?" And I'm like, "I'm on a no buy."
Can you? Yes.
Oh,
yeah.
You got a book you want to move, just call Paul.
Yep, that's a
That's
problem.
all
So I'm
you
like,
gotta
"No,
do.
man, I'm on a buying. Is that a 7.0 white pages? All right, let me see.
All right, let me
Okay.
see that.
Is that-
Oh crap!
Is that a single-digit Amazing Spider-Man issue? I never thought I'd own one of those.
Yeah, because I've lost 2 collections in my lifetime for varying reasons beyond my control, and I'm on my 3rd. So it's like I'm holding on to this like grim
Oh,
death.
you're competing with Mike Zapsik with rebuilding collections,
Yep.
man. He's had it wiped out a couple times.
Yeah, it really stinks, but I think that it's the 3 of us combined have this just insane passion for comics. We've been reading them basically our entire adult lives. They're at every comic show. I try to go to every comic show.
Right.
And I think it's just if you're really going to put on a successful show of this type, you have to be active in the community. You have to have the trust of the people who are going to trust you with their money.
Yeah, and you can't be like, hey, I'm running a show. I don't have time to go to these other shows and promote and meet other people. You guys are out there.
Yeah.
And
Right.
that's how you, and I imagine those shows will come and support yours because you supported theirs, and their audience will come. They're, the Lehigh Valley is, an hour and a half away, so that's not that far. Clifton, Wayne, all the, Edison.
Anyone that we
all those
can make
people.
it to, if we're not vending or if they're not vending, they
Yeah.
go to. And if anyone that I can make it to, I just try to get to.
That's awesome.
Just because it's you got to support the other people, and
for
that's
sure.
that's why Zap and that's why Garden State Comic Fest have our eternal respect, is because you see them at every show.
Yep.
How many other producers of comic shows in
Not-
the
not
area
many.
do you actually see out and about? Buying stuff. Like I go to another comic show and I go to RC Comics.
Yep.
I go to Totally Awesome or Absolutely Awesome.
Yeah,
Absolutely Awesome.
Absolutely
I
Awesome,
want to
yeah,
say I want
Gary.
to say totally. I go to Gary and I go to Spiro and I'm just yep, this,
Yep,
this,
yep.
and I'm never talking to them about like, hey, come do my show, or hey, can I get this from you? It's all we just like to support those other people that are trusting us with.
Yeah, absolutely.
And honestly, a lot of our vendors, when we first told them where the show was, they were like, where is that? They had no idea about it. Now, honestly, I didn't know what Bellworks was until Stan came to me with it, and we walked
yeah,
in
who
there.
who was the first one of you to go? Okay.
Yeah.
This
Well,
guy's an
I-
engineer.
Yeah.
So I think this guy just saw the layout of the place and that
Yeah.
was put together and just like cackled like an evil.
Oh yeah, so I'll talk about Bellworth. If you haven't been there, it was AT&T Bell Labs was there back in the day, and the building's designed by Eero Saarinen. It's this huge 2 million square foot space. It used to be a technology hub. Nobel Prize winners worked out of there. There were a lot of things invented there, like a lot of revolutionary
They
technology.
came up with the Big Bang Theory in
Yes.
that building, I was told.
Yeah.
Not the show, the thing.
Yes.
The
Yeah.
Big Bang Theory. Big Bang Theory.
Yeah, and then when kind of all that crumbled, the building was just kind of left in disrepair for a number
Yeah,
of years.
It was vacant for a while.
Yeah, to the point there were things. It was getting overgrown. There was vegetation growing in there, and then these geniuses they were going to raise it and build houses on the space, and these guys swooped in like, no, we got a better idea. Let's build this up into they call it the Metro Burb, where we're going to do We'll have offices. We'll have meeting spaces. We'll have restaurants, retail. They're talking about building like housing and a hotel in there, bars. It's like we have enough space, and a genius designed this building. Why would you want to tear it apart? Let's and they built it up into the space where like I'm trying to get in there one day.
Yeah.
Like that's a goal of mine.
Better hurry up. I think it's filling up in there.
It's filling up, yeah, even though it's that big, but they have so much open space, and they're always doing something in there. I think for March Madness, they just built a basketball court.
I saw that on their Instagram today.
Yeah.
There's an actual basketball court
It's
in
insane.
there now. Like right in the what?
Yeah,
You're in my wheelhouse right now.
Yeah.
every Wednesday they do the Bell Fresh Market, which is like a farmer's market in there. And,
we were there 2 weeks ago for that.
Yeah, there are health and wellness conferences and conventions there all the time, and so it was a natural fit that there would be a Comic-Con there. I just didn't know who was crazy enough to do it. And now those three people are right in front of me.
Who's got 6 thumbs and crazy enough to do a Comic-Con and Bellwork? These guys.
Were you just driving by? So the location is right off exit 114 of the Garden State Parkway.
Right there.
Literally right there.
Yeah.
So,
Tons of parking.
Yeah. I mean,
Why-
parking is as far as the eye can see.
Yep.
Yeah.
Free parking.
Free parking. Yeah.
Which is
none of-
that's a rarity.
Yeah.
You're right across from PNC Bank Arts Center.
Right.
Free parking is like finding a white whale
right.
in the,
oh,
in
yeah,
the middle
for
of the
sure.
desert.
Do you remember why you were there, or were you driving by, or how'd you hear about it?
I grew up in Homedale.
Okay.
So, like, I knew,
you get closer to the mic, just right into it.
I grew up in Homedale, so
Okay.
I knew the area. I knew that they were turning it into something.
Okay.
Up until the day where I went with these guys, I never actually stepped foot in there.
Okay.
But I saw the space online because I was looking up places we can vend
Right.
and stuff. And online it looked amazing, and
Yeah.
I wanted to see it in person.
I think they definitely had a little bit of a like when we first walked in there for our first meeting. I think you were wearing your work clothes, right? I was wearing my Iron Man Hawaiian shirt. You were the only one who was dressed halfway nice because I think that you were on work that day.
Yeah,
and it was funny because they were just kind of like, all right, tell us what you got. We'll listen to it.
Yeah.
They were very nice and very cordial, but you could tell that they were like,
You got to sell me on this.
right,
Yeah.
right.
Our first meeting there, we didn't even see the second room because
Right.
they were filming. It was Emergence.
Emergence.
Yeah,
Yeah, remember when they were
Oh,
filming
yeah,
the TV
yeah.
show down there?
Yeah.
We got to see the big room with the glass, the main room, right?
Right.
And it was, shh, don't say anything.
Right.
And we're like,
Shooting.
and so the guy, and Joe, who was giving us the tour, he goes, okay, and so over here, you're going to come in that way. He goes, oh, shh. And then we had to stand there for 5 minutes being
Yeah.
quiet. And then we hear, cut. And we're like,
Like,
okay,
okay, we're
now
good.
we can talk.
Right.
We didn't even see the second room.
Yeah, our second visit is when we saw the second room, and then we were talking. I forget her name. Was it
Jennifer.
Jennifer. We were talking with her at the top of the stairs when we first walk in, and she all of a sudden makes this like deer in the headlights face, and she looks at us and goes, "If any of you guys are Ben Stiller fans, don't
Yep,
freak
there
out."
he
But
is.
he's right behind
Yeah,
you,
yeah, yeah.
Standing right next to us.
Yeah.
like literally like it's the most casual thing in the world, like 6 feet away from us, and we're all like, "Oh my
Yeah,
god, I love
there's
dodgeball." That's
there's
something
there's
about Mary.
Fokker. There's Gaylord Fokker.
There's a Fokker
Right there.
Fokker in.
Fokker
so,
alert.
Like, we immediately fell in love with the big space. But then when we came back a second time, we found out about the other ballroom. So
Yes.
that first pre-function room, they call it,
Mm-hmm.
when you go through that cool like red like kind of like tunnel
Yeah,
walkway thing
yeah.
right down there, that wasn't part of the original plan. We had only paid to rent the big room,
Right.
and we were going to go all the way down the hallway and in through the glass doors. We walked into that second room and we were like, ooh, we need this too.
Yeah.
And we were like,
How
much?
much?
So we asked them about it, and they had to clear their calendars and make sure that. And the prices they gave us was, I believe it was fairly reasonable.
Yeah.
We had her
Yeah.
like, if it's above this, we're gonna be like, and it was like
Right
there.
We're
Close,
like-
but not.
So we just
not
decided,
terrible.
yeah, we were just like, you know what, we're gonna
Yeah.
give it a shot.
Yeah,
So
yeah,
that
yeah.
allowed us to expand in the first year. Before the first show even came. So we just tried to build the show model out to where the booths were reasonably priced. The general admission tickets are the same price as you would get as like a VFW show, to the point because we know that we're trying to build a brand.
Yeah.
We're not going to try and be one of these Comic-Cons that, tries to throw a ton of money at the wall, and then we want to walk away rich on like the first year show. We
Yeah.
and I know just from an event standpoint that when you're doing an event or you're starting a business, you shouldn't really expect any type of in the black within the first 3 years.
Oh yeah.
But I feel that we've done a very good job of like taking the risk of, all right, we're going to bring John Beatty up from Florida.
Sure.
Okay, we're going to bring in Mike DiCarlo from
Yep.
Indianapolis.
Yep.
It's like, and I didn't get the emails that I was hoping to today. I was trying to because I really wanted to try and make an announcement here on the air because we're waiting on.
Okay, no, we'll make it. Yeah, I know the contract. You want to make it official.
But I was because I've been. It's two different names. One of them is a comic creator. The other one is in a movie that was based off of comics, right?
Okay.
And that's the most I can say. But the two of them, if we had either one of those, because I've been hammering away at the people that you have to deal with agents now and stuff like that.
Sure.
I was like, hey, any updates? Hey, just circling back on this. I'm doing the very nice, like, can you please tell me yes or no thing for these people? And they're like stoked about it and they're trying to make it work. But like, I really just wanted to give like just an announcement like live on the Facebook tonight. But
yeah, that's all right. Just wait till it's official.
Well,
wait till
These
it's
things
official.
change.
Why don't we just tell everybody about the VIPs?
Yes,
Right.
I
That's
saw an
something we can
announcement.
kind of.
So you do have a VIP tier, as you
Right.
know, as every Comic Con does.
Right.
What do you get on the VIP if you get the VIP level? How much is it?
VIPs are 30 each.
Which is unheard of, by the way.
Limited to 100.
Okay.
It's all a test run. We'll see
Probably-
how this goes.
I think the coolest thing that we're doing for our VIPs is we're having a VIP exclusive green room.
So those salons on the side, the rooms when you're walking
Oh,
to
yeah,
the event space,
absolutely.
those two rooms. So what we were, we're probably going to end up talking about it now, is that so we're going to use both of those salon rooms, right? One of the salon rooms is for every vendor and guest at the show to take a break and get off the floor.
Of course.
Refreshments and stuff like that.
Right.
The other one is going to be a private green room that is only accessible for the VIPs. More snacks, more refreshments,
yeah.
coffee, stuff like that. So we, if you're a digger like we are, you could end up spending hours just going. Or if you have kids or anything, we want you to be able to get off the floor.
Yeah, go. You get a little bit of space to chill out, which is a
Right.
premium at most conventions.
Right.
Yeah, just try to find a place to hang out at New York Comic Con.
Can't promise that it's necessarily going to be that exact price next year, but we wanted to see what it is.
Yeah.
And what we did was we put together a list. We all brainstormed and were like, what is like 5 or 6 cool things on top of the standard? We're giving people a laminate. I'm actually recreating an iconic comic book cover for the VIP laminate. They get, a special edition poster, but we were like, what are a couple other things that you could get?
Well, we got the tote bag.
So we're going to do a tote
is
bag for
just-
people, which will be good because what we're actually working on is we're working on some of the other vendors and sponsors to put calls to action in the tote bag.
Yeah.
So that way you get some extra perks in there.
We're also going to have special event merchandise like T-shirts. And if you attended Middletown and you're seeing this, you know that we had the special Middletown comic show print that we had made up.
Avengers 151.
Avengers
Oh,
151.
nice. That's awesome.
VIPs got a Avengers 4 at Middletown. They're going to get another special edition print for
Classic.
covers.
Well, but my favorite part, and I'm sorry, I know I'm not shutting up, but the
nothing
fact
new.
that the Avengers 4 VIP poster, we took out Namor and we put in Brian O'Halloran.
From the
Like,
animated Clerks.
we perfectly recreated Avengers 4 and made it say Middletown Comic Show,
Right.
and instead of Namor, and also at this sensational event, Brian O'Halloran, and we
Yes.
took a screenshot from the animated Clerks series, and it fits
And
so
That's-
perfect.
He got such
That's
a kick out of that
hilarious.
too. It was really funny.
That's
and also,
hilarious.
probably the biggest thing for comic collectors and people who maybe grade comic books is if you've been paying attention to the announcements that Paul's been putting out over social media, is CBCS is going to be there taking submissions.
Fantastic.
And they have offered a 10% discount to any VIP
That's awesome.
at Super Jersey Comic Expo. Which
That's
if
all.
you-
That's
you
worth
know,
the price alone.
exactly.
Right
If
there.
you bring enough
seriously.
books, 10% off is going to save you a good amount of money.
Yeah, absolutely.
I think it's a fact that we were somehow, and whatever divine, Galactus shone down upon us, the fact companies like those don't do one-day shows.
I've
No.
And
never-
they don't
I've
do
never seen them at a one-day
first
show.
year one-day
No,
shows.
So
But when I emailed Steve Paulus down there, I had to go through a bunch of people to get a contact name, talk to Steven. He had actually been apparently hearing about the show,
Yeah, he was.
which I was like, all right, this means something. We got to
right.
do
So
something
you guys
with
are
it.
coming then.
Right, and so what we did, and it was tough because they have logistics. They
Sure.
have to, they got a lot. They're gonna have a lot of books to ship. They have to get people up here and stuff like that. So we're trying to do everything we can to. I like to call it under promise and over deliver.
Yes.
So we are going to do everything we possibly can for you, but when everybody actually shows up, whether you're a vendor, a general admission person, or you're a VIP, you're going to get more than you expect.
Yes.
Like we're renting pallet jacks to help every single vendor load in from the loading dock in the morning.
That's crazy.
So that way the vendors aren't taking all their own stuff.
Yep.
We are going to be putting out there, should I say next week for the sidekicks?
Honestly, isn't it? That's going through the website, right? Or is that
Yeah.
going through?
Oh, if you
So-
want to volunteer?
So what we're going to do is we're going to ask for probably maybe a dozen or so volunteers.
Oh, you'll get that easy.
I know, but what we want to make sure is that people don't think that they're just showing up to do schlep work. We're going to make sure that, we're going to try and break it up into 2 shifts. So that way, if you do the early shift or the later shift,
then
you still
you can hang
right,
out for
you
the
get
rest of the day.
special edition shirt and stuff like that. And with that, you'll, get other perks that are down the line, because when it comes down to it, it's basically us 3 kind of running the whole show. And until this grows to something else, we want to see if there are people who are willing to give us a shot to get involved with us when we're technically not official yet. The date hasn't come, the event hasn't happened.
Right.
So we exist in theory.
And honestly, yes, it is the 3 of us, but I think I can speak for Lindsay and even for Jen that we have a great support system. My wife, who honestly, and I really hope she's not watching this or listening to us because she's going to kill me if she hears this, hasn't gone to a comic book show with me since probably 2016.
Oh yeah, it's understandable. They go, if your wife or girlfriend really isn't into it, they'll go with you once or twice and like, okay, I put in my time.
When I first started vending, she came to the first couple, sat with me, and then she was like, "This is boring." She started making hair bows.
Sure.
Stan's fiance, Lindsay, she's
gone to one show with me that I've set up at.
Okay.
She tried to help me vend. People couldn't have a conversation with her because it was, oh, you're a girl, I don't know how to talk to you.
Right.
I actually, that's the show I met you at too.
Yeah,
It was Thomas River.
That's the show we met each other.
But,
so she's like, I can't help you at shows anymore. But she does come to Middletown. She helps at the door and stuff like that.
Yeah, that's
so
what I was getting
at.
at is like my wife has volunteered to come help that day. She had volunteered her sister for her to come help that day. Like our support systems, they believe in us. I mean, honestly, on my way up here, I was on the phone with my mother just catching up with my son. She volunteered to buy VIP tickets so we could sell more and raffle them off or something like that. I mean, I turned her down. I told her, I was like, I'd rather people
who want them
to be there, but it's a generous, it's a noble thing. It's generous. I appreciate it, but it's just our support systems believe in us so much that they have our backs no matter what. Yeah. And I know Lindsay is probably sick of hearing about this. My wife's probably sick of hearing about this.
Jen's okay with it
okay
because
for now because she's
Jen also works overnights.
Yeah.
my girlfriend works overnights, so that way it's like we get our good time together. She always, she starts seeing books stacking up in the living room, and she was like, hey, if you love it, that's perfectly fine.
Yeah.
I knew things were good when we went to go see Endgame and she cried.
I
knew. We're good.
I have never been more hyped during a movie than I was when everybody came back.
Oh,
I just gotta say that. Now.
Oh yeah, the Portals.
Oh my god,
I have that song Portals from Endgame on my gym playlist. I'm like, I need some extra energy.
It's on my my warm up playlist or whatever. Like if I'm got work to do, it's on there. And if I need like a boost just to get my energy going, boom, I hit it.
Yeah. It's the amount of support that we've received. I think we announced it. What was it? December 14th, so middle of December, somewhere in there.
That's when it was online. We announced to
Middletown,
to the attendees and the vendors at Middletown.
Right, a month before.
Our plan, which was in the middle of November. It was November 16th was the last Middletown show, and then we put it out. We actually did ticket sales Cyber Week.
You're right. Okay,
Yeah,
so we
it
did
was December 1st.
So what we did was all the VIPs who purchased, I think our VIPs at Middletown were 10.
10, yes.
Right?
And we sold out.
When we sold out, so what we did was we created an email list and we emailed all the VIPs that said, hey, listen, you are the first ones to know about this publicly. Tickets are on sale for you. And we sold a nice little nut of VIP tickets like over a month before
before
tickets
you
went
even
on sale.
started, officially.
And we know that, so we built this show, at least with the price model, is you're going to pay the same amount to get in at the door as you are online.
Right.
We just know that there are some people who like buying tickets ahead of time. That's all.
Oh, yeah.
So it's not like...
Well, there's 4 of them right here.
Right, exactly.
Yeah, we don't want to take any chance of selling
Nope.
out. Because we've been there. It's like, oh, crap.
Right. And it's
Why
just...
did I wait so long?
Again, just like we never know what's going to come for next year. We can't necessarily promise that all these price points are going to be exactly the same next year, but we wanted to do something to show people what we were working on, make it a value-driven comic or a customer service-driven show where, like, hey, do you want to go to Bellworks? Because look at all the other stuff there is to do.
No.
It's not just a hall where there's a Comic-Con and then you leave and you leave.
Yep.
It is a mall that is also happen to have a
There's
Comic-Con.
retail, there's restaurants, there's a Booth Crew Coffees over there.
Yep.
A lot of our vendors never heard of Bellworks, and then when we told them where it was, they went and looked it up. I can honestly
They're
tell
like,
you.
whoa.
I was set up at Old Bridge because somebody in this room decided to go to Hawaii.
sorry.
I'm going to Hawaii on Tuesday. You just got back from Hawaii. Hey, have fun running the show. You're going to be fine.
Well, hey, while you're in Hawaii, you know what's with my son.
Yeah.
I got that to worry about.
Yeah.
So bring back the warm weather, please. But I could hear Gary from Absolutely Awesome Collectibles, and if you've been to a New Jersey show, you know who Gary is. Just talking about Bell Works and how excited he was. And for somebody on the level of a vendor that Gary is to be this excited for a show, it's can't miss.
Gary doesn't have a Facebook page for his company. He doesn't have a website. He doesn't do any social media. I think Spiro has a Facebook profile.
Yes, he does.
But like they are so well known in the comic world. Like if you know Gary is set up at a show, Gary looks like he is a retired superhero. He looks like he was fighting crime back in the day.
Yeah, now he's selling superheroes.
You walk in and you see Gary at a show and you're like, all right, this show must be legit. The fact that he was excited about it when he was shown everything, I was like, I think we're on to something here.
Yeah.
And I think that's what we're all kind of holding on to, is that we think we're on to something just cool and just fun.
Yeah.
You know?
Rafe from RC Comics was the same way. He was at Old Bridge too. He was talking about it to everybody who walked by, and while I was handing out flyers to anybody who came into my table, whether they purchased something or not, and I would say more than half the people that I interacted with that day were like, I know about this show. I'm so excited. I haven't bought my tickets yet because it's still a month or so out.
Right.
Which, fine, just as long as you come. I want to see you there. I want to see people with stacks and stacks and stacks of books. Or if you want to go and buy that 9/4 Hulk 181, or if you want to visit Gary's booth, I'm going to give him a plug here, and buy that Amazing Spider-Man #1 CGC 50 signed by Ditko and Stan Lee. I cannot believe he has that book.
So with that being said, can we segue?
Yeah,
that's why I did it, because I know you've been itching to
God,
start this off.
it's been going, talk about me. And I don't even want to, I just, all I want to do is.
Yeah, but
How
item
about
here
we
right
let-
in front of you.
How about we let Stan talk? It's his book.
Well, how about this? How about we let Stan talk, but how about we
And I guess this just came in today, and
Yeah.
I
we're
just
all
got
very
it in the
excited
mail.
about. I don't even know what it is. So.
I'm going to hand it to you in a way where you can't see anything about it, and I just
Okay.
want you to take a look at the signature on the front page.
Okay, I have it. The the COA is right back here, and it's a Fantastic Four #1 Marvel Milestone Edition. If you can see that, it is signed by Jack the King Kirby. Everybody, and Stan Lee. There's Stan Lee right down at the bottom.
So if you take a look at it on the top there, it says, signed by Stan Lee, but written
in ink.
So because the Jack Kirby signature wasn't verified by CGC, but the certificate of authenticity is on the back of the book there to verify Jack Kirby's signature.
It is also hand numbered to 1961, which makes it even better.
Yeah.
Yeah, 205/1961.
It's actually 202.
Right.
CGC messed up on that.
Yeah, it is a 2, but that's still.
Dude.
That's this is insane.
I've never held anything with Jack Kirby's signature
Me
on
either,
it
me
in
either.
my life.
Graded as a 6.5. Yeah, the King. The King.
The King.
The King's DNA is on here somewhere.
Somewhere, like
Is
there's
that-
a little bit of like skin flake on there
That's
somehow.
pretty. I
Still,
gotta take a photo of this
Maybe some fingerprints or something.
before I forget. What's the story behind this? Where did you get it? How?
One of my friends out in Washington got it in, and he knows I always look for good stuff, and he always looks for key Spider-Man issues. So I happen to have first Green Goblin, and he wanted it.
Yeah.
So we just kind of worked out a trade. I told him I want it for my personal collection
Yeah,
and
yeah.
everything, and it just happened. So, and then I got it in the mail today. Wasn't expecting it that fast.
Yeah.
But it just
Yeah.
amazing.
And you guys CGCing out there, pay the extra for the expedited. It's totally worth it.
Yeah, honestly, we all have our own niche that we love when it comes to collecting. Yes, Stan and I both vend, but I mean, I know.
Yeah, where's your what's your ultimate fandom?
I'm a child of the '90s. I grew up with the X-Men the animated series,
Yep.
so the X-Men that's my wheelhouse. I like to put
For sure.
it. I'm a huge. My honestly, one of if not my favorite cover ever is X-Men 101, the first Phoenix. I'm a big Captain America fan as well, so especially that Silver Age Cap, not where it gets all mixed up with Bucky and then Nomad and all that other stuff. But I know Paul shares the X-Men love with me.
Yes, my favorite comic team of all time. I think the animated series came out when I was like 8, 9, something like that. And
you're 2 years older than me, so I think I was like 7, so you might have been 9.
And I learned about comic books because I watched the animated series as a kid,
Yeah,
and I used
same here.
to collect baseball cards when I was a kid,
Oh,
and then I
that's-
went into my local baseball card shop and I saw a flashy silver magazine with the people from the cartoon on it.
Yeah.
And that was X-Men issue number 300. So it came out like a month before my 10th birthday, and from there it was over. We grew up in the holofoil era.
Oh yeah. Well, with me, it's a little flipped. As a kid, I was big into Ninja Turtles and Power Rangers and all that stuff, and then I discovered Batman animated series and Spider-Man and the X-Men animated series. So I started buying comics like everybody in the early '90s did, and then I got really big into sports. So I kind of drifted away for a while. I was always into the video games, the movies, and the action figures. But as you know, I don't want people to think I'm sucking up to Ming here, but I discovered Comic Book Men on Netflix in summer 2014.
Yeah, God bless Netflix.
I binged it like within a couple of days. And I was hooked. I was back. The first book I bought when I got back into collecting, and the only reason why I thought it was a cool cover, was Amazing Spider-Man 64. And I still have it. It's not something I've actually removed from my collection. I'm always going to hold on to it. And my wife likes to refer to it as the book that started it all, for better or worse. But Stan, why don't you talk now? Tell everybody who you like.
I'm different. I'm a huge Hawkeye fan.
So am I. No one
reads Hawkeye.
I do. I have. I got it till Suspense 54. It's beat up. It's beat to hell, but that's why I love it so much. And I got Stan to sign it shortly before he passed.
I had one. I had a 5.5 for a long time.
Oh man.
Right, 5.5.
Yeah, 5.5.
Which I think Paul now owns.
Yep.
That was a Bellworks transaction, I believe. Actually, right at our first day at Bellworks.
And after that, comic is like, I need some money. Hey, Paul, have you ever thought of
at Bellworks?
At Bellworks, we did a transaction.
Yes.
So there's been a comic book deal at Bellworks.
Yes.
It's already happened.
Before the con.
Already happened.
That's amazing.
Yep.
But because I had just gotten in a really nice one, so I was like, I don't need the 5.5 anymore, because this one looked like a 7.75. But at Middletown, I needed something for my wall to draw people in.
Yeah.
I wasn't expecting to sell it, so I put it up on my wall.
Yeah.
And obviously, that was the first thing that sold.
Yeah.
Which kind of is upsetting, but I'll get another one.
You priced it to move, so
Oh, yeah.
I mean,
Well,
you will
actually,
get another one.
I priced it a little high, but they talked me
The
down.
don't want to sell it price.
People were there to
You
buy.
gotta sell it for the don't want to
Exactly.
sell it.
People
price.
were there to buy in
That's
Middletown.
awesome.
I mean, honestly, you sold that Hawkeye. Didn't you sell something else huge in Middletown as well?
I sold the Hawkeye. I sold an ASM 300. I sold a couple other books too.
I sold my whole wall.
Yeah, you sold your whole wall.
You did? Didn't someone come and buy
Yes.
your whole wall books?
Like a half an hour into general admission, somebody came in and bought my whole wall. I also sold an ASM 300 that day.
Yep.
Paul bought a bunch of stuff, didn't sell anything because he's a hoarder.
I'm
love him.
I just don't. I don't like selling my stuff. I really don't. I've had to do it like once before when I had a big thing going on, and I felt like terrible. So it's like I don't want to sell my stuff, and I don't just collect. Like I am action figures. I am comics. I am movie
toys.
memorabilia. I am. Oh, it's a thing. I'll take it.
And,
Yes.
this is rare. Okay, I'm gonna buy it and keep it forever. Yes.
Well, at
Benicio del Toro. I am the collector.
all three of us, believe it or not, were at WildCon last September, and Paul had just gotten a long box that had his Holy Grail in it.
Right. Yeah. For the first time ever. Like, so, whenever someone says, hey, I know someone usually selling comics and stuff like that, I will always refer people to my local store down there, Farpoint. They are the one spot within like an hour of Atlantic City that does comic books, that does really good toys. They have a bunch of like 12-back Star Wars figures and stuff. Great
incredible selection of stuff.
Floor to ceiling from Funko Pops, everything. And people, they're like, hey, listen, I'm not really like, I don't want to like buy a collection here or go here. So someone referred me to a mutual friend who was like, hey, I have like a small tub of comics. It wasn't a ton of stuff. It was like a small tub. I think all of his stuff together was maybe a short box.
Sure.
But this guy was in his mid 50s or so.
Okay, so you might have some good.
So they were Bronze Age, and we're going through it, and they're going through. There's first Ra's al Ghul. I'm like, oh, that iconic green cover.
Yep.
Okay.
Yeah.
And then
I sold one to Katrina Law.
right. Yes,
one episode,
you did.
Yeah.
And then my Holy Grail. Giant Size X-Men #1.
No.
There it is.
No, right?
It has
They were like together in the same
same thing, and then there were even a couple others. I think there was I forget what other ones there were.
95 was in there because you showed me that at Wildwood.
X-Men 95. There were a couple other good ones.
There was a lot of good Bronze Age in there, but I brought that up because you say you never sell anything, and I still remember you sold me the stuff you didn't want from that box. And the pain in your eyes, I was trying not to be mean. I was trying not to laugh.
No, I know.
Because you're like, do I really want to collect, giant size, like all the giant size issues, like Daredevil,
giant size Daredevil #4. I'm like, because I'm a completist, so
yes,
I get my comic runs. I am going for issue.
Quite a bit easier to get those.
Right. So it's like I don't ever sell anything, and if I hadn't lost 2 collections already, I don't even want to know what my storage unit in my house would look like.
Right.
But it's it's tough for me. I don't know why it is. I have such a hard time getting rid of anything, but it's kind of become like a running joke that these guys know that we know what Paul likes. Yep. Hey, I got a really got, and I'm like, curses.
Yeah, we know what Paul likes.
You're just waiting
everything.
for my Avengers 57 to come back.
What's that?
You're waiting for the Avengers 57 to come back.
I am waiting for the Avengers 57 because it's like it's because I got rid of that book.
Yep.
Well,
and it is my favorite monochromatic cover of all time.
Bronze Age 9.0, right? 9.0 is your
First
benchmark?
Vision.
Well, that's Golden Age.
Well, no.
I'm sorry, that's Silver Age.
Your benchmark though was 9.0, right, for Bronze Age?
For Bronze Age, if it's graded, it has to be 9.0 white pages.
I think it's white pages, but I have a Ms. Marvel 18 9.0.
I hate you. If it's Silver Age, it has to be 6.0. And if it like a moderate key, like First Vision, it has to be 6.0 off white to white.
Yeah.
But if it's like a major key, like I don't have any of the major keys. I don't have FF1. I don't have X. But those, and it's only those major keys that I want graded. Those have to be like at a 3. So it's like I was like, but if they're modern, they have to be a 9.8 white pages.
Right. Sure. Oh, absolutely.
And some modern books can get up. Yeah. And I don't always want the 9.8. But then this guy comes to me with an ASM 238, 9.8 white pages with the tattoos still in it, and I'm like,
crap.
I'm like, oh my god, I have to have it.
A month after the 9.6.
A month after I bought the 9.6 from him.
Oh, you can sell the 9.6.
And he's like, hey, if you want to trade up, I'll give you a great deal. I'm like, my 2 arch nemesis right here in the comic world. I'm doing a comic con.
Oddly enough, your friends,
frenemies.
Yeah.
Arch nemesis. I mean, let's see. You and I met at the first con I ever set up at Tom's River.
Right.
It was right after you started. Are we allowed to say the name?
Yeah, of course.
We're right after you started Comic Trips.
Right. Yeah.
You and I first started talking because a mutual acquaintance of ours found a Hulk 1.
Correct.
At the Englishtown Flea Market of all places.
Yeah.
You and I, Stan and I met when I was still just getting back into collecting at the same Tom's River show.
Yep.
That was the first. And
accidentally tapped the sound button on the live stream because I wanted to share it. I forgot. I was like, wait, we didn't share anything while we were on, so I just went and I shared it.
It'll live forever. You can share it whenever.
But ever since we all met, it's been like, especially in the last year since Paul came on with Middletown, it's just been like nonstop. My wife calls you guys boyfriend A and boyfriend B, just so you know.
It's like
she says it with love, though.
It, like, not to go all full comic, but it's almost kind of like that symbiotic relationship that we have. We know what each other likes. We haven't known each other our entire lives, but I think it's not the amount of time; it's the amount of quality. And I think that we've just had as people who you do your thing for your full-time job, you do your thing for your full-time job, I do mine, but we all have this really important shared space for us, and now we've been able to kind of pull it all together, which is I feel like that shows in the way that we are trying to keep this show extremely organized. And that's one of the bigger things that we want to make sure that people know, that this is going to be a highly organized show. We want to infuse new technology into it. That's the other thing that you didn't say about the VIPs. Well, I'm sure we went off on 10 tangents, but every VIP is going to get a special phone number to text us at any point in time during the show if there's an issue.
Really?
Yeah. Yep. Like a VIP hotline.
VIP
Could you imagine like Wizard World doing that? Like they would get inundated.
If we sell more VIP tickets next year, we'll see how this one goes.
Right.
But, and then besides, I guess what?
Wow, that's awesome.
Well, and they get an hour early into the show.
I saw that. You get in at 10 o'clock.
The most basic, but yet probably one of the most important parts.
You get
of
the first dig.
You get the first.
You get the first dig.
At Middletown, the biggest selling point of the VIPs was the early access to the comic packs.
Right.
Now the biggest thing for VIPs is early access to CBCS, because we all know how the lines can be for those.
For sure.
And the 10% off.
Yep.
Along with all and that's a new perk. Everything else was something we decided early on, and then when CBCS said they're going to come on, we're like, okay, and they offered that to us. We didn't bring that up to them, right?
No, like that was like they and that's one of the things that like I feel so good about it because there are people who are just like, you know what, we're gonna give you a shot. You know, here you go, kid, give it a shot.
And,
you know,
and honestly, I mean, not to kind of bash anybody, but we kind of in the comic world, we kind of are kids. If you look, like, if you walk into,
well, no,
there,
because I mean, it's, if you look at a lot of the people that have been doing comic shows, they've been doing some of these shows for
a long
15 years,
time.
20 years,
Well,
30 years.
I always joke with JP that runs all the shows up in North Jersey. His first show was, I was a year old
I hate
when he
you.
started running Clifton.
For the record, everybody, Stan's not even 30 yet, so feel free to hate him for that.
Oh yeah, yeah.
So
try
he's
not
been
to.
running the show for 29 years
Yeah,
now.
29 years,
28
something,
years
yeah.
or 28, 29 years. And every time he sees me, I'm just like, so it's as old as me.
Yeah.
I mean, the thing that kind of makes me feel really good about this, besides the fact that we're doing this, trying to put comic back into comic shows, is the support we've gotten from our peers, like John Paul or JP, as everybody knows him.
Yes.
Sal and Dave from Garden State Comic Fest, they've been a big help with us. Even some of our vendors, like that have been supported us, that have been with us since day one, that keep coming back because they like our show so much.
Dude, Mark Morales, we asked Mark Morales to go us, and he goes, I live in, where did he
I think
say?
he said Freehold.
Freehold. He's like, I live in Freehold. And he goes, my wife was on Facebook and she saw an ad for your con, and he goes, I was curious about it. And it was like later that day that I happened to reach out to him. I was like, hey man, I was like, I know this is a long shot, but you know, I'm one of the guys putting on a brand new event here. I was like, you've never heard of any of us, you know, you can't find anything on our show, but here's what we've been able to put together so far. This is backstory on me, him and him. This is who we are.
Can you come day one?
Give us a shot.
Yeah, one day you drive out maybe 30 minutes.
Right. And he was like, absolutely, I'm all in. And I was like,
Mark's such a great guy.
I was like, that's awesome.
Yeah.
Like, and what I'm hoping is that, at least these guys that we're bringing in, like I said, we got a couple more who are kind of out in the universe that we're working on.
Jeff from Eastside Mags.
Yep, Jeff from Eastside Mags, one of the best comic shops in the whole state as well too. Like, he is fully like, I trust you guys. Like, he's backing us. And
Jeff is also a fellow Comic Book Men alumni. He brought the Alf issue.
He did, the
Alf
Alpha.
issue.
I forgot about that.
The infamous seal.
The seal cover,
issue,
yes.
Wow, God.
Number 18. I can't remember what the number.
42.
42. Okay.
Yeah, I knew it
Yeah,
was
the
40s.
Great Seal Sodomy. Yeah,
Yes.
Infamous issue.
Yeah.
I forgot about that.
Yeah, he was on one of the later seasons. It's after you. I know that.
Right.
And he was able to get a plug in for a store.
I'll look it up. To come up right away.
There it is.
There it is.
Oh man.
I don't know who greenlit that cover, but
Well, there's several things you could say about certain covers that have
there's-
that's true. That's true.
I know Stan collects those.
48.
Iron
Yep, you're right.
covers.
There it is.
What was that? That came out when, like, 90,
91.
92?
91.
Okay.
Yep.
Okay. God.
Yeah.
That was like when, so think about that. That's 91. Think about all the other just random franchises in pop culture that they were throwing comic books at, everything. Boom, 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 everything. And then how many years later did the absolute and total bottom fall out from everything? Was it like 93? Was it 94? Something like that the crash happened? I've still got 30 I've still got 30 copies of Death of Superman that I want to retire on.
And the white baag one. You got that one too.
I'll never forget.
I
I'll never
understand.
forget. I was actually in the store one day, and somebody walked in, like called the store, and said, "I have some comics to bring." Somebody said, "All right, come on." The guy takes a cab, walks in. The first book that he brings in is the white bag Superman one. And Mike was like, "I feel so bad for you.
Wow.
You should have told me what
Well,
you
there's
had."
a lot of that. Think about it. You know,
You're not even gonna get your cab fare back.
right?
Oh,
People
yeah.
are like, what is it? Let's call it like 30 to like 45 or 50, right?
Yeah.
There are so many people who in the 90s when they were kids, because think about the prosperity back in the 90s. Our generation of people, and they've shown statistics on it, of average of about 30 years old to about 40, 45. We grew up in the most prosperous financial time in modern history, right? So we got everything we wanted. That's why we had the Nerf guns, the GAC, and all the crazy toys that we
Super
had.
I love the gag
Soakers,
reference.
yeah.
by the way.
Everybody
That's
put
awesome.
all this stuff away.
Yep.
For 25, they moved up, they moved out of their parents' house. And so now we're seeing people, you don't see the whole, Detective Comics 27 coming out of Barnes much anymore.
Nope.
You see all the holofoil covers from the 90s
Yes.
and the Toxic Crusader action figures coming out of nowhere, or the Hasbros. The WWF Hasbros popping back up out of nowhere.
You're right though. For everything, for every mint on card Hasbro that shows up, you have the Toxic Avenger stuff. For every New Mutants 98 that shows up, because I mean, face it, 10 years ago that was $1 book.
Yep.
You have, all the Death of Superman and Death of Superman related stuff that they just printed so many of.
Yeah.
I mean, it's crazy to think that it's like for every one thing that now has hit from the 90s, there's 10 things that you just look at and you're like, oh my God, why did I buy that?
Yeah.
Dark Hulk 1.
I don't know how you still sell that for $20 at every show. I don't know how you get it for
It
that
still
book.
goes for that much.
I don't know how you do it though.
Yeah.
We're all riled up, bro.
That's what we do. This is what you can expect on March 21st over
Yeah.
at Bulwark. Come bring your passion,
absolutely.
man. Bring your
Absolutely.
Well,
fire. Yeah.
okay, so let's talk about the 21st.
Okay.
Let's talk about a shared universe.
Yeah, let's talk about
Yes.
a shared universe.
Will a shared universe be having a presence at Super
A
Jersey
shared
Comic
universe
Con?
wouldn't miss Super Jersey Comic Expo. Unfortunately, me myself, I'm going to be in Kansas City that week. I'm part of the part of my schedule is and it kills me not to be there.
Right.
Believe me, like if I would be there. I would sleep there overnight just to make sure I don't
Right.
get there late.
Well, it's funny. One of the
but-
other guests that we would have had is at Kansas City
Okay.
the day before.
Yeah, it's yeah.
And
Okay.
that close to having him.
Yeah.
And it would have been almost like hey, I'll give you a shot, and it would have exploded. But at least if a shared universe is going to have
we
a
will have
presence
a
there.
table there. Thank you guys very much. Mike is working on being there. I think he's scheduled to work that day. I'm like, dude, just switch. Can't you switch with Walt? Just Super Jersey Comic Expo doesn't happen every weekend.
Yeah.
Dude.
Well, just have Ernie O'Donnell come work the table. He lives in Middletown.
yeah, he's right there. But I mean, I mean, we wouldn't miss it.
Cool.
We wouldn't miss it. And
Well, happy to have you.
Yeah,
Yes,
and
very
Happy to have you as in the entity, not you because
Yeah, and
Next year, though.
and I mean, as you, if you're watching on Facebook Live, or I mean, you guys are here looking around. We originally our idea was to market toward geeks, to start geek related podcasts, and that grew into small businesses, and that grew to everybody. We realized that like everybody should be
such a
doing this.
cool concept.
But
though.
we
it's
started
great.
out as geeks, arguing about how bad the Justice League was, and,
Right.
we talked about Martha for
You know what? I know that you
over
just
an
I know
hour.
that you just opened up your second location in
did.
Asbury, right? Which
We did.
congratulations,
Thank
by
you.
the way. I will say that there's not anything like this down by Atlantic City.
Yeah, I know.
I'm just saying, if you ever really get the gall to
I know
like start
there's AC. I know there's a lot of I've met some. I actually met some real estate people down there. So
Pretty soon, Paul's going to be running for mayor of Atlantic City.
Yeah.
He might try to buy.
Don't
the
get
whole
me
town.
started on politics. We'll light this live feed up. Let's
Oh,
get
no,
started on politics.
I've seen your comments on Facebook.
Goldie Wilson. Yeah. I'm gonna clean up this town. Actually, when I talk about, people are like, "What's Atlantic City like?" I'm like, "You ever see Biff's Casino from Back to the Future 2?
Oh, yeah.
That's what AC is
Alternate
like.
reality, 1985A.
Yes, yeah.
All right? No, it's not far off.
Yeah, it's not that far. Although they're improving. I was just down there recently. I met some developers that are.
They've made a lot of strides. I think in the last 5 years, a little thing that came out. Not like in the last 5 years, crime is down to a third, not
Right.
by a third, but down
To
to
a
a third,
third.
to a
Yeah.
third of what it was 5 years ago.
So you have a
And
1 in 3 chance of getting jacked. Yeah.
there's a lot of people investing in it.
Yeah.
And there is a university
Yeah.
in Atlantic City now, so it's like they're under pressure to make it better. They have to make it better because people aren't going to send their kids to a city where they know that they're going to get like.
Right.
Everyone's got their opinions of Atlantic City, and I get it. Everyone thinks that it's one of those you walk a block from the casinos and you're gonna get that. I've lived in that area my whole life, and I've literally never had a problem besides people asking me for change.
Oh yeah.
yeah,
Which,
that's perception.
and that'll
I
happen.
love going
That'll
down
happen
to Atlantic
anywhere.
City.
So
I
that'll
love
totally
it.
happen anywhere.
I'm glad that it's that it's coming back. I mean,
Well, like I said, it's there is no Comic-Con in Atlantic City yet. So we'll see what the rest of the year and next year has to offer.
Yeah.
Because people have tried.
Yeah. Sure.
And what people
I was there several times.
And what people don't realize, and this is the issue that I've always had, is because, again, I've been part of many large events in Atlantic City. The beer festival every year. I'm fortunate enough to get to work, again, with the company that does that. The guy that owns that company is my mentor in marketing and stuff like
Fantastic.
that. But when people come in from outside of Atlantic City to try and put on the best blank that's ever happened, a lot of times they just jump over every single local person and every single local business, and they throw tons of money at something. They don't do anything with the local people,
Right.
and then the local people don't support it. And in addition to anytime you try to do a large scale event in Atlantic City, the second it's in Atlantic City proper on the island, you're immediately losing 25% of what your normal crowd could possibly be.
For sure.
So,
and then you got to pay to park there.
Pay to park.
It's a
the
whole
preconceived
thing.
notions of the area.
There's a pot on the back burner right here that's at a little boil with something going on. Hopefully that to present in Atlantic City in the near future.
Yeah.
But it's like it has to be perfect. Because it's home for me, and I don't want to bring something like that to home without thinking of every possibility.
Yep. Yeah.
So,
but I think you have a great. You're gonna have a hit here on your hands here. But
fingers crossed.
I mean, you've already got a hit with the venue. I love the venue. I'm in love with. I'm totally in love with the venue.
Mid-century, perfect, frozen in time architecture.
Yeah, just big, clean. Easy to get to, free parking. It's made for something like
kids
this.
under 12 are free.
Kids under 12 are free. So what are the so it's March 21st. What are the hours?
So general admission hours are 11 to 6.
Okay.
VIP gets in an hour early at 10.
Okay.
Vendors, if you're watching this, you can start showing up at 6 a.m. No earlier.
Okay.
And you have to be set up by 9:30 at the latest, guys. Help us out here.
Yes.
But like I said, we're going to do everything we can from top to bottom, whether you're a vendor, VIP, a special guest, or a general admission, to make sure that you are taken care of. Because if you're going to trust us with your Saturday, with you and your family and stuff like that, and more importantly, your $10, your $30, or your money for a booth, we want to do right by you. So I think, guys, Hail Mary. I think that we might have something cool on our hands, and can't let out too much, but we have been in some certain talks about the future of the show, and you could see some cooler, better, bigger stuff if this year goes well.
Oh, absolutely.
This is the Prometheus of what could be.
Yeah, you're turning it, and we're going to turn it into James Cameron's Aliens is the goal.
I hope so. Hopefully less people die.
Right. No chest bursters.
Right. Great Comic-Con.
Yeah.
All I got was this hole in the chest. That was a great time.
Yeah, but general admission, $10. You can't get anything for $10.
Most
right
VFW shows are $5, $6, $7.
Exactly.
You know what I mean? It's like, and again, and I will say this so it's on record and on video, cannot necessarily promise that all these price points are going to be same next year because we have to see the end metrics.
Sure.
He's an engineer, so we know exactly every centimeter how much space this place can fit.
All that,
right. This guy is a whiz with financial.
Yep.
And I know how to do Photoshop.
Yep. And you're
and social media.
You're a marketer. Marketing is very, very important.
Yes. Each of us carries a very pivotal component of this. Like I said, we're the color wheel here, we're the Venn diagram, and I think that perfect little nugget in the middle of what each of us do is where, like, I built a website. I run the social media. I do every piece of graphic design for it.
We did all the marketing. You were out there pounding the pavement, handing out cards.
He's in CAD design doing the exact floor layout. This guy, he's also hitting the pavement every single show he's at, talking to vendors. Because a lot of these vendors, like, I've been obviously around in comic books and comic book shows forever, but these guys are at every show. Most people who know who I am know me from, like, my old YouTube channel a while back, or they saw me on one episode of Comic Book Men, and then they know that I go blind, and then I buy all their $5 Silver Age or Bronze Age.
For sure.
But they know these guys, and with what I've been able to try and help build with the marketing, it's actually really more on these guys' reputation within the comic world. So I think I have the ability to get people to talk, and these guys, with being up so much further north than I am, if I were to try and come up here alone and do something like this, it wouldn't be anywhere near as good as it is. It is because everyone at the shows trusts these guys.
Right.
So, and that's a big part of it. So we were able to somehow perfect soup. I hope.
It's like the Avengers. Put them together, and you can repel any threat, or you can do anything. So that's awesome.
Yep, you're Ant-Man.
And I love
let him be Hawkeye.
Oh, you could be Hawkeye. All right, fine.
If you're a Bellworks employee, $8 admission.
And if you're a Bellworks employee, $8 at the door. Don't even worry about trying to buy tickets or anything. Show us either your business card, your name tag. Just don't be a jerk and try and get in if you don't work it. But don't do that to say because we just want to be honest people. You know what I mean? It's like, I work at Busker Do. And it's like,
if you don't really work at iSims, then we're gonna find out.
Right.
Yeah.
Just like,
don't be a jerk about it.
And to be honest, maybe I won't find out, but it's just like, just don't be a dick.
It's karma's gonna come back.
Right. Because it's funny because my accountant, I had dinner with him to discuss my taxes because last year was my first full year of running my own business on my own. And his cousin works at iSims.
Oh.
And he saw him post. He goes, an article. It said, "Holy cow, they're doing a Comic-Con at my work."
Yeah.
And I was like, "We got it."
Yes.
Somehow we've broken out of our immediate barrier and we've been able to get it.
Yeah, and well, this is the other cool thing is you're holding this at a venue with already the people working there.
Tons of people
So you
already.
have I mean, if you go to convention center, there's
Right.
no one working there.
The key is
Really cool.
how many of those people that work 9 to 5 Monday through Friday are we going to be able to get to come back to their workplace on a Saturday?
Oh, well, if there's
that's when I'll know I've won.
If there's a
Yes.
Comic-Con there,
Yeah.
I'm totally, of course.
If
I'm
we
coming
get
back.
100 people that were Bellworks employees, I'm like, all right, these people came
Yep.
back to the place they
Yep.
worked on their day off.
Yeah,
And,
well,
like,
it
that's-
works out. They could take their haul and put it back in their office.
Right,
It's
exactly.
great, or just whatever they're buying. Like, I'll put this. They're buying stuff for their office.
Right.
It's right there. It's brilliant.
Right.
There's gonna be
Brilliant.
something for everybody there.
Yeah,
There really
we
is.
want people coming in cosplay. We want kids. We have these there's 2 cosplay kids. Oh, that are all over our Instagram. They're amazing. Cosplay Chris and Cosplay Drax.
Okay.
I think they're 2 younger brothers,
it.
and I think that they're each under 10 or somewhere around that. They're very young, but their cosplay pretty much destroys almost any adult cosplay that I've ever seen. And the fact that they're excited about it and they're coming, that gets me jazzed up. I want people that come to the show to have a memorable time, and so that way we can be like, all right, we've already actually started working on things. If this show goes past this year,
Yeah.
we've already got things that we're kind of working on prototypes for next year.
Mike and I are banking on this going to year 2, and I will be at year 2. I'm saying that right now. Whenever you get that date, let me know so I can mark it
Both
off.
of you will be at year 2.
I think it'll be more than both of us.
Okay.
And there'll be a very large geek podcast presence there for sure.
If it works out, and we've already discussed the possible dates, is that it's going to pop up one day earlier.
Okay.
So next year it will be March 20th.
Oh, great,
And then,
okay.
And then March 19th
Okay.
in 2022. Knock on wood.
Yeah.
Say a Hail Mary first if it works
Sure.
out, but we'll see what happens.
Okay. Well, I can't wait. Super Jersey Comic Expo, superjerseyexpo.com.
Mm-hmm.
Follow them on social media
At Super Jersey Expo
at
everywhere.
Super Jersey Expo.
Yep.
And thank you guys so much for coming in. I can't
thank
wait
you
to
for
see
having
how
me.
Thank you
awesome
so much for having us. This was
yeah,
awesome.
Yeah,
This
you
is
have
fan-
our
this is
you
great.
have our full endorsement.
Boom.
You are it's you give there's the
stamp of approval?
You have our Krusty the Clown stamp of approval. It's not just good; it's good enough.
It's not just
But AJ, Paul, Stan, thank you guys so much
Dude,
for
thank you
coming
very
down.
much for having
And
us.
Appreciate it.
yeah, I me and Mike just love that you're doing this.
Cool.
And
the fact that we have your support does mean a lot because we do,
really does.
and it sounds
Well-
corny. We do look up to you guys. You guys
Oh, well, you
you
gotta
guys
look-
are comic book men.
you're not looking down at me. I'm 5'4",
I
so
know.
yeah. Thank you guys so much.
Thank you.
Thank
Super
you.
Jersey Comic Expo, everybody. We'll see you there.